Hey everyone, welcome back to Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler, and this is Mardu Pyromancer. So this hand's a bit iffy. Now that our opponent's on Tron, I'm not sure how well it's going to work out. But we were on the draw. It had a Thoughtseize, it had a Lingering Souls. Those are powerful cards. It had all our colors. I don't know. It wasn't the world's best keep, but it was reasonable. We'll see what's up with our Tron opponent here. Path could be good, right? If they're on the Wormcoil plan, it could be good. It could also be terrible if they're not, if they're just going to Karn us on turn 3. But there's no Expedition map, so I guess that's a start. Oh, it's Eldrazi Tron. Okay. Ooh, it's sweet. It's spicy Eldrazi Tron. That's an Emrakul. Well, what do I care about here? This card's very good. Yeah, a colorless creature card. Yeah, that's a very good card. Bane and Ball again. I like this. This is spicy. Okay. This is a lot of stuff to care about. He's a long way from casting any of it if he doesn't hit Tron. We're an even farther amount away from killing him. We can path any of this. This, I assume, is bad if he resolves it against us. But, of course, Smasher is Smasher. I'm just going to get the Smasher, because if we path anything anyways, it's just going to get him closer. So may as well just get the Smasher, and we're going to hope that our opponent can't resolve any of these big spells before we can do something about it. That's easier said than done when our opponent has 2 pieces of Tron and we're on the play, or on the draw, but we'll do the best we can here. Our opponent's hand is very slow. Okay, well, that's a start, I guess. I mean, yeah, that can certainly answer several of the things he's had in play. I mean, hope we don't get Emrakul'd, but yeah, our hand's pretty slow. This is one of those games where having the Monastery Swift Spear would have been nice. I think we want a Sacred Foundry here. Yeah, our life total, it does matter because our opponent is actually playing things that attack, but I am going to fetch. Would like to clear as many lands out of our deck as possible. It's not traditional Tron where your life total is basically irrelevant, but we have so many lands I will do whatever I can to slightly lower my odds of drawing one. And it is very slight. A lot of people overestimate the value of deck thinning with fetch lands. Yeah, there's one less land in my deck to draw. It makes my draw step so much better. Well, no, in reality, it makes your draw step like, depending on the amount, it's usually like less than 2% better. So you really do, because in life is a big trade-off, so you really do have to keep that in mind. Oh god, here goes. Yeah, we might get Emrakul'd this game. Oh man, alright. Well, like I said, you really do have to keep in mind the trade-off when you're doing it. But in a game like this where our opponent has big stuff, if he gets to cast it, it's just going to kill us in all likelihood. We need to draw gas. We need to draw it now. And when our opponent's clocking us for 5 and 7 and 13 a turn, that two extra life we paid, probably not going to be the difference. That said, we obviously just drew another land, which isn't ideal. Alright, so I want to keep up Terminate, but I also want to flash it back, which means I have to shock myself again. Yeah, the problem is going to be the Emrakul. So our opponent has 2 card types in their graveyard. And 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So Emrakul costs 13, huh? Protection from Instants. Well, that's a problem because we have Instants in our deck. Oh, they just have it, right? Wow, we're just going to get Emrakul'd on turn 4. Oh, okay. I don't actually think we have outs. Technically it's their turn 5, it's our turn 4, and we just got Emrakul'd, huh? Alright. Fair enough, I suppose. Yeah, Does it have Trample? It does, of course, yeah. I could be wrong. I literally don't know if we have outs to this card. I do know that if he wants to path and terminate my own guys, I'll let him. We'll see what we top deck. I don't think we have any outs. I mean, we can go check real quick. Oh, we drew Thoughtseize. Does that kill us? No. Do we have any outs to this card? Nope. We sure don't. All right, we can't be. Can we beat it with our sideboard? I will hide seek the crud out of that Emrakul. All right. Well, I think we just scoop. We literally can't beat this card. It's got flying. It's got trample. It's got protection from instants. Our deck's nothing but instants. All right. Well, fair enough. I guess sometimes you just get turn 4 Emrakul. It's a thing. All right. Well, we get some nice cards here though. Yeah, Blessed Alliance is sort of an out to Emrakul. All right, so this is some sweet stuff we've got here. I'm going to get out. We're doing these Kolaghan's commands. We really just want to be fast here. Fatal Push seems not very good. Our opponent was just all big stuff all the time. Obviously, want all of our discard. I think we want all of this. I mean, Lingering Soul is actually pretty slow. I don't think we can cut one. I might cut a Faithless Looting here, and we need to cut one more card. I mean, I think Blessed Alliance is good. It can make him sacrifice one of his big attacking creatures. It's one of the very few outs Emrakul we actually have in the entire 75. I saw some artifacts. We might want the couple of Stony Silences here. Maybe we just, if our opponent casts an Emrakul, we're just going to lose. I don't think we play with a bunch of cards we might top deck to beat Emrakul. Another Kolaghan's Command, I think. It's possible I have too much removal in here right now. Like maybe I can cut a Lightning Helix or something. Or a Path. I might cut a Path. I mean, he's gonna have artifacts. Kolaghan's Command can also make him discard a card. Path is just so reactive. All right, well this is pretty sweet. This is actually kind of like the dream, I think. This is the kind of hand that can beat Tron. Turn Inquisition, turn 2 Young Pyromancer, turn 3 Molten Rain. That's pretty good. Hopefully good enough, but it's pretty good. All right, opponent's down to 6 already. That helps. Okay, let's see what he's working with. We have no white mana. That's also worth noting. Oh, I see. So it's... oh, God, we're going to get Emrakul again. All right, well... So there's 1 copy of mine, 2 copies of Tower. That's what we need to keep in mind here. Stupid Emrakul. I don't want to get Emrakul. That's not fair. Right, let's see what he reveals off of this Ancient Stirrings. 1 time, no power plant. 1 time, no power plant. Expedition map. Okay, that's not very good. So that's good for us. I feel good about where we're at this current point of the game. That can change very quickly when you're playing against Tron, but I think things are okay right now. And there's the 3rd mountain, huh? That's not ideal, but it probably won't matter. I mean, honestly, given our opponent's hand and given our hand, I think playing Young Pyromancer into Molten Rain and Kolaghan's Command is probably just going to be enough to get there before our opponent can start, raining down on us, but we'll see. So there were 2 towers and a mine, so that's perfect. Ooh, I'm actually going to take my value here and Kozilek's command, or sorry, Kolaghan's command that expedition map. Not often you get to destroy an expedition map. All right, so this is pretty good. This is actually about as About as well as we can hope for, really. We're popping off here with Pyromancer already, and we get the value on the Expedition map, which almost never happens in Modern. So, and we make our opponent discard a card, which, may or may not be relevant. And the next turn we'll Molten Rain the Yours Is Mine. And, I mean, we have no gas besides that. We have nothing else to do, but that is pretty strong. All right, so our opponent's hand... he discarded... What did he discard? He hasn't discarded yet. Okay. Yeah, it's a couple towers in there. So we know it's Tower, Emrakul, Tower, and one unknown, I think. He discarded a tower. Sure. All right, well, the beatdown begins here. Dealt ourselves 5 damage, but we have begun the beatdown of our opponent. What we really don't want is for him to go Eldrazi Temple Thought-Knots here. That would be the worst. I actually am going to destroy the tower here. This is something I've talked about before. I believe it is correct, and the math seems to be that if you have the choice, you destroy the tower. You destroy the non-tower, so that if they have to tap their Tron lands to complete Tron, they have to tap tower, which means the payoff land. In this case, let's say Power Plant. If they play Expedition map on their turn, right, 1 and then 2 to pop it, and then play Power Plant for the turn, it makes 2 mana. Now instead, let's say I killed the tower, and they pair this. If this was the other way around, right, and our opponent taps mine and Power Plant to go get tower and plays tower, and it's 3 mana now. So in that case, so I think what that means is it's generally correct to kill the non-tower lands. In this case, because our opponent has already discarded a tower, I'm just going to kill the tower because there's only 2 copies left in the deck, right? And that trumps everything else. We do need to draw something else, probably. These 4 cards might be enough to win the game, but I would like to draw some more spells. And get in here for 3, puts our opponent to 13. Yeah, I definitely think we're going to have to cast another spell to win this game. Maybe just 1 more, but we need 1 more here. I think we drew 4 lands. I don't know. Hey, he had the Power Plant too. Look at that. All right, so our opponent has 2 towers left in their deck, and they have Emrakul, and I guess that's all we know about Emrakul in hand. Yeah, if we whiff on our turn, and we can play anything, including, well, we actually can't play Bedlam Reveler. Oh yeah, we can. Sorry, so we just need basically anything but a land here. Okay, well I did say anything but a land, and it's fine. I'm not going to complain about that card. It depends what our opponent has, but it could work out great if our opponent has, a creature or whatever. If our opponent instead just, plays a tower and goes Ulamog, or rather Ugin, that would be pretty bad for us. We can beat most things here. Okay, here we go. Are we getting Emrakul? Okay, ooh, Thought-Knots here is actually perfect for us. I mean, I think. Because we can terminate it now, and if we get a trigger, and if we draw an instant, we can cast it, and we should be able to cast any instant. We do get Emrakul next turn. Fortunately, we're not going to take any more damage. We're at 14. We're not going to 13 to die to Emrakul. Because I think we can actually beat around an Emrakul, but hopefully we draw like a lightning bolt here. So we're going to draw, then he's going to get exile. Lightning Helix is perfect. That will do it. Puts our opponent down to 6. We conveniently have exactly enough. Yeah, I said we needed 1 more spell, and we got it with the Terminate. So that should take care of this game. I guess there's 1 card we don't know about from our opponent. Our opponent has Emrakul and an unknown. That was close, though. We were about to get Emrakul yet again. This is not the type of Emrakul I'm used to seeing in Modern. What is this? Young Pyromancer did some work there. Well, that was basically the best hand we could have against Tron. And the game was still close, so that doesn't feel great. It's, all right. I think I actually want one fewer path and one more Faithless Looting on the draw because we really need to set up those. We need to set up a broken start like that. I guess what I say broken. That we essentially had one of the fairest starts you could have in Modern, right? We just played removal spells and creatures that weren't inherently broken creatures. But we need something akin to that. We have some cards that are very important in the matchup, right? Crumble to Dust, Molten Rain, Hide Seek, I guess, Young Pyromancer. Those are the cards we need in this matchup. So I think on the play we had a little more, wiggle room, but on the draw, being a turn behind our opponent, we really need to put together something powerful. I think I want Surgical in here though. I'm leaning more and more to just cutting. I'm cutting a Stony Silence on the draw here. See, I'm not sure exactly what we want. Surgical is good. I don't even know if we got that change in. Surgical is fine. It's great if you can get a Tron land into the graveyard and then exile it. But sometimes it just doesn't happen, and then you have a dead Surgical in your hand. It's really hit or miss. You can't, exactly Thoughtseize one out of their hand. This hand is a mulligan. Sweet hand, but not good enough. Let's see if our opponent mulligans or keeps. They have kept. Oh, they mulliganed as well. Okay. Oh, man. I think I have to ship this. Maybe. Our opponent went to 5. It's pretty hard for us. Stony Silence could be so good. We'd have 2 shots at finding a land, so we'd have 19 lands out of 54 cards. So those odds aren't exactly great for us. But this hand is so good with a land, and we'd have 2 draws. We'd actually have 3 draws to get there, so we're looking at 19 out of 54 3 times to play the Stony Silence. And almost all of our lands produce black mana. The problem is these other cards aren't exactly great. But Stony Silence could just shut down our opponent who mulliganed to 5. I'm going to keep it. I've talked myself into it. Stony Silence is so hit or miss on the draw, though. I guess let's think about it this way: if we draw Black Leaf Cliffs, right? Does that make this hand good? It means we need to go Inquisition into Stony Silence. But I think all our opponent has are maps. This doesn't seem to be a Sphere Star version. I'm going to mulligan. I mean, obviously get punished. That's just how Magic works. Yeah, I guess we keep this one. You always try. This always happens to me on Magic Online. Blech. Anytime you try to take a greedy mulligan, where you're like, this hand's playable, but I think we can do better, you just always get punished. I'm aware that's not actually how it works. See, for what it's worth, though, that Stony Silence would not have done anything to this map, assuming our opponent has a second land. This hand gets to play. We can cast, like, a couple spells. I see another Tron land in my opponent's hand. I'm going to rage, though. Rage, tilt. Just mulligans to 5 and casually has turn 3 Tron, like always. Gosh dang it. Tron is so dumb. Every week I play against Tron, and every week they have turn 3 Tron no matter what I do. I think our opponent had like the best possible 5 cards. 2 Tron lands, Expedition Map, Ancient Stirrings, All Is Dust. Jeez. And we just can't even get lands and spells. Come on, game. Cut me a little bit of slack. All right, well, we'll play Swift Sphere, and we'll begin the beatdown one at a time here. Let's see what we can do. I think the plan after that is hope our opponent doesn't find anything to do with their mana, and somehow we just rip red sources in Molten Rains, I guess. We draw 2 more lands, and then we draw Crumble to Dust. I don't really know what we're looking for here. Stupid Tron. This is cool art, though, right? It's a little... I can't possibly... So, from what I understand, I'm not an expert on lore here. Urza is a powerful planeswalker who I believe is now dead. But sure, whatever. Urza is a very powerful planeswalker who, I guess, has all these different things, right? He has a power plant and a mine and a tower and all these powerful things, right? And that makes sense. You have a tower. That's a big building. That's cool. It's got some mountains in the background. You have a mine. Yeah, you put those things to work, right? That makes sense. I get it. You have your minions and they got to power your tower and all this stuff. But you have a bug? What? Why are you electrocuting a bug? What does that have to do with anything? That doesn't make any sense. Like, this is more like Pokemon. This is like a battle against a Beedrill or something. I just don't even know what this art is. We're just going to take this Beedrill and we're just going to light it on fire, and that's how we're going to power all of our mines and power plants. I don't know. It must be real interesting to be a city in Urza Town. A citizen in Urza Town, rather. I don't even know. Whatever. It's evil looking Beedrill too. Alright, well, Swift Spirit Beats. Sorry, that was... I'm not going to rant about Tron. I will rant about this, though. Come on. I don't even know what those are producing power. They're just bowling balls. They're bowling balls electrocuting a Beedrill. It just doesn't make any sense. Alright, Swift Spirit Beats begin. We have attacked for 1. Die, Tron player. Alright, so our opponent has 3 cards in hand, one of which we know about as an All Is Dust. And also a Reality Smasher, that makes sense. I guess I can Lightning Bolt the Reality Smasher, discard whatever we draw, and block with a 2/3 Monastery Swift Spear and kill it. So I guess that's the plan. We will discard Kolaghan's Command. And then, you know what? Bedlam Reveler is one of the few cards that might eventually get us out of this mess. I'm taking down this Reality Smasher, though. You better believe it. Didn't need this Kolaghan's Command anyways. We'll just 8-for-1 ourselves on the Reality Smasher. They didn't even have Eldrazi in Urza Town. Come on. Unfair. Alright, well, you know what? I would like to discard a card. I'll discard the Kolaghan's Command. Wasn't going to cast it anyways. Alright, it's officially only a 3-for-1. And if you're counting at home, a 3-for-1, and we took 8 damage from that Smasher. But our opponent has an All Is Dust. Ooh, okay. Look, we're doing it now. Our opponent has All Is Dust and an Unknown in hand. So maybe they're not going to do anything all game. There's another land, sure. You know what? If we can just draw 2 lands. Oh, that's not fair. Our opponent gets to play cards. Well, that's not remotely fair. Alright, we've died. We're getting Emrakul. I refuse to get Emrakul yet again. Maybe I'll draw a Hide Seek. Because this puts it on top, right? Yeah. Alright, so the first creature spell you cast costs 2... Oh, it's just an Ulamog, that's all. Alright, come on, Hide Seek. Give me Hide Seek. I would love to seek that thing out of your library. Come on, deck. Inquisition, not quite good enough. Alright, well, that was fun. Oh man. Sometimes you take a trip to Urza Town and Urza Town wins. Good game, Tron.